What's really traumatizing about the experience is that I have video evidence to prove it, because I had all intentions to record a vlog about the experience. But midway through the vlog, I realized this ain't gonna be no vlog, this gonna be a story time. I had the worst brand campaign experience ever. This is what happened. Let me start off by saying I love this job. If at any point I sound ungrateful or like I'm not happy about what I do, check me, because I love it. It's a blessing, but sometimes it's not easy. Oh, I mentioned earlier that I prayed for it. So I prayed for a specific dollar amount. I'm gonna just tell you the dollar amount. It was $19,311. And I knew that if I could just add an extra $19,311, which is not an easy task, I just knew that if I could get it, then I would be able to check off some goals that I had. Some goals that I had for not only myself, but also for my family. So I remember a sermon and the pastor was like, be specific with your prayers. And so all the way down to the dollar amount. So that's how I got the 19,311. And so here I am, I'm praying and I'm fasting for this specific dollar amount. And then I eventually actually forget about it, move on with my life. I did write it down. So that's how I remembered that I prayed about it, because I wrote it down. Anyway, 2 months later, so after this prayer, 2 months later, my favorite agency of all time reaches out and they are like, hey, we're trying something new at the agency and we have worked with you in the past and we feel like this would be a good opportunity for both of us. Would you like to partner on it? But after scrolling through the email, at the bottom of the email, she puts the compensation for the project. And immediately my mouth was like, it was the most amount of money anybody had ever offered me at one time. I didn't even have to think about it. The answer was automatically yes. But one thing, after reading the details, one thing that I did notice that it was UGC, which is good because I love UGC. It was also photography, which is good because I have a photography background, but it was due in 2 days. So it was due in 2 days, and it's a relatively large, because remember, it's a 5-figure brand deal. So it's relatively large in terms of the number of photos that I need to deliver back. And I got to get ready for it in 2 days. I knew because it was a large project that I was going to need help. So I hired a photographer friend. I also rented a beautiful space, because if you're going to pay me a lot of money, y'all, this shirt is low cut. So if you're a boy, just go and click off the video. That's better. Maybe if I sit on it. I knew that they were paying me a lot of money, so I wanted the space to be something worth how much money they were paying me. And then I also pulled Logan out of school, pulled my husband out of work because I needed help. So I got the photography, the space, and I got 2 extra hands for help. Let me rewind, because I only had 2 days to prepare for it. But one of the things, as I was reading through the brief, there was something that really didn't make sense to me. And so I remember saying, this don't make sense. And since I'm not new to this industry, I know when something don't make sense, you better ask questions. And so I just simply asked, brief says X, Y, and Z. Do you mean X, Y, and Z? And I got the email back, and the email said, yes, we're talking about X, Y, and Z. So I'm ready to go. I got everything I need. I got clarification on the part that I was unsure about. Now I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I got my help. I got my beautiful space. Let's get to it. So we go to the shoot. The photos turn out amazing. They are beautiful. I wish I could show them to y'all without having to blur out the project, but I want to keep a good rapport with this agency and this brand, so I'm not name dropping anybody. So I'm swooning, I'm patting myself on the back, I'm high-fiving the crew because we did good, and now I got to go home, hurry up and edit it, because remember, it was due in 2 days, which means it's due that day by 3 o'clock. We're back home. Praise the Lord. I feel a little stressed out though, like a little anxious, because it is 1:43 and these photos are due at 3 o'clock. If I just happen to turn them in later than 3, I ain't tripping about it. But I do know that it did have a specific deadline for 3 p.m. And so, if I'm being honest, it's gonna take my computer 30 minutes just to sort through the damn photos. Actually not, it might not take that long. But overall, I feel like it was rushed. I mean, it was rushed. I got the notification on Tuesday. I prepped on Wednesday. We shot on Thursday. Thank God for Sally, because I don't know how I would have been able to shoot all that stuff on my own in that short amount of time. So she came through. And so let me come back. I'll be back. And so I submit the photos, submit the work by 3 p.m. I immediately run to the pantry because I'm about to pop a bottle. I'm about to celebrate the biggest brand deal that I have ever done in my life. I'm about to turn it in and celebrate the biggest brand deal I've ever did in my life. And I turned it in. I'm headed downstairs to the kitchen. I turned it in at 3. At 3:02, I got an email back and it said none of them will work. She said you weren't supposed to shoot it X, Y, and Z way. You were supposed to shoot it another way instead. Remember, I asked for clarity about X, Y, and Z, and they gave me clarity. So why, after I done went through the entire process of creating, editing, submitting this work, now you want to tell me that what you told me, what you clarified, was actually incorrect? When I tell you I'm still healing from this, I was so pissed. I was pissed because I wasted my money. Because now I got to reshoot it. I wasted my money on the photographer. I wasted my money on the space. I took my husband and my kid out of school, out of work for this, so they can help me with this huge brand deal, because this huge brand deal could set us up for a while. So not only was I pissed, but I was also kind of embarrassed, because I was like, I got to do this all over again. And remember, I recorded it. So I'm documenting the process only to have to come back and tell my documentation that I got to do it again. I was so mad. I felt like I wasted an entire 2 days of my life. Y'all, today was not my day. Woo! Today was not a day for me. The shoot went great. Sally did her thing. The vision came to complete fruition. It was pretty cool. I was in my element, in a sense. So the shoot went well. The shoot was so fun. Working with my family, and then also getting to work with a new photographer. She did her thing. The photos turned out great. Even the agency said the photos were great. However, they did not accept a single one of them. Oh my God. They did not accept a single one of them. So she sends the email. She's basically saying, we can't do it that way. I know we said X, Y, and Z, but I was out of the office that day, and this project has been through multiple hands. So we will not be able to move forward with your X, Y, and Z way. We got to do it this way instead, which means you're going to have to reshoot it. And we will compensate you $300 to reshoot it. And I'm not complaining about $300, because that can be a life changer in some situations. That could be a huge help in some situations. But do you know that I hired a photographer, I rented a space, and I also took my husband out of work? So $300 is not going to comp what I lost. Then she says, not only do you have to reshoot the whole entire campaign, but it's due tomorrow by noon. Not tell y'all, I must have stretched and got ready to send her the most nice, nastiest email I could come up with, because I got shit to do tomorrow, and $300 ain't gonna make it work. But anyway, I had to politely tell her that this was not a mistake that I was going to pay for. I had to tell her that if I were to reshoot this is how much money I would have lost in this process. And so not only are you going to comp me for the money I would have lost in this process, but you also going to add on a reshoot fee that I think is fair for the both of us. So I sent the email. She accepted it, and she said, cool, sorry about it. And then I had to get back to work. So here we are. I'm not renting a house this time. I'm not renting a studio this time. I'm doing this solo dolo in my kitchen, because the zeal, the thrill, the fun, the excitement, that has all festered. At this point, this ain't even fun work no more, because I got to reshoot it. So reshoot number 2. I shoot the products the exact way they requested. They didn't want X, Y, and Z, how I shot it the first time. They wanted it this way. So I shoot the products the exact way they requested it. So for reshoot number 2, because it's due tomorrow by noon, which means I have to get started on it right now. So I had to run to the grocery store. Because I had to get the products back. Anything that I needed, I had to re-buy it because, like I said, I thought I was done with this campaign. So now I gotta go repurchase all these things. And for one of the shots, they asked me to get a specific brand of soda. So I go to the store, get that brand of soda. I include that brand of soda in the photos like they requested because none of this is my creativity. I'm doing exactly what y'all asked me to do at this point. And so I was able to reshoot the products and turn everything in by the 12 o'clock deadline. We did it, y'all. Content has been submitted. And it looks pretty good for it to be a rush job. So here I am thinking really hard about popping a bottle because I did it exactly how they asked me to do it. I should be good. Submit the content, and then later on, I think it's like an hour later, she replies, "You didn't remove the label from the bottle." Cool. That's easy. I'll just Photoshop it. So I go in, Photoshop the logo. I'm not quite sure why you asked me to get a specific brand, but you want me to Photoshop the logo off of the brand. But I get it. Some people don't want the other people brands in their brand. So I got it. I just Photoshop it. No, easy fix. So I sent her the Photoshopped photos. And she says, no, we actually want you to physically remove the label from the bottle, meaning that I have to reshoot it. And now I'm kind of pissed because you told me to get this bottle of soda. If you didn't want the label to be in the bottle of soda, then why did you specifically ask me to get this brand of soda? It's not making sense. It's not making sense. I ain't no genius, but that ain't making no damn sense. So here we are at reshoot number 3. Let me get some air going in here. I don't even know where to start. It's just so much. Ooh, thank God for a breeze. I don't know how to work my computer no more. I'm delusional. Remember, I'm supposed to be off today. I'm supposed to be enjoying brunch with a friend and drinking and having a good time and just enjoying my Friday to myself. And here come said agency. And I know at this point you're probably like, Whitney, just walk away. But remember, I told you that this is the biggest brand deal I've ever got in my life. I'm not walking away. We're going to resolve these issues. So I reshoot the bottle. Once again, that's not my fault. And I submitted. That, honestly, reshooting the bottle wasn't as terrible as reshooting the entire thing. So I submitted, send it to her. And now I'm ready to celebrate because they've accepted it. She says, cool. That's a wrap. We will get this over to the brand. We'll let you know if the brand has any feedback. We'll keep in touch. Long 3-day weekend. I was just excited to get up, to be done with that campaign and move on with my life. Tell me why. Saturday evening, I got the email. Hey, brand actually wants you to shoot it like this with no soda, and they need it by Tuesday. Y'all, I'm not even at home. I'm in a different state, and it's the weekend. And Monday is Memorial Day. And you want me to have this back to you by Tuesday? Have you lost your mind? But before you bruh me and tell me to just walk away, I want you to know that I'm about to bust their head with another reshoot fee. Because none of this is my fault. At this point, I'm doing everything I can. None of it is my fault. This is the agency's fault because they have poor communication with the brand. And in turn, I'm catching the repercussions because y'all don't know how to communicate with each other. So I'm finna tax y'all for that. And it isn't fair to me to have to reshoot. Not to mention, I'm out of the state. So I got to go back home. So I end up negotiating another reshoot fee. I negotiated my ticket to be covered so I can get back home to record this content. And the biggest contract of my life has now turned into an even bigger contract. Even though it's not a fun, great experience, it's still more money than I have seen in a very long time. Probably ever. So here we go. I fly back. Gotta go grocery shopping that morning. I gotta pull Logan from school because now they want her in the photos. I'm prepping. I'm planning on a scale from 1 to 10 of how hard this was. This was probably the hardest campaign I've ever done in my career. And it's like stupid difficult. It's not even challenging creatively, that kind of difficult. It's dumb difficult because y'all making it difficult. Anyway, this time they gave me specific instructions from the brand, which is, in my opinion, that's what you should have led with. Am I right or am I right? You should have led with instructions from the brand, not y'all coming up with instructions. So here we are. And in the instructions, they said something that was nearly impossible. And it offended me in a sense. So their specific instructions is they wanted me, I can't make this stuff up. They wanted me to shoot 2 different products at 2 different depths of field and both of them being focused. And it doesn't make sense. If I look at what's in front of me, everything behind me is blurred out. If I look at what's behind me, then everything in front of me is blurred out. That's how our eyes work. That's also how the camera works. You can't have 2 objects in 2 separate depths of field and they both be in focus without having to incorporate Photoshop. So now I'm pissed because I ain't even no Photoshop expert. Anyway, it took me 2 days to reshoot all of that content. Remember, I'm shooting it at the house this time because no, just no. Y'all should have saw my kitchen. I'll insert clips. It was looking like a tornado came through there. Whenever you shoot content, you're supposed to move all the other stuff, the junk, the coffee maker. You're supposed to move all that stuff out the way so there's just the product. And so I did that for 2 days straight. My house was a disaster. So I reshoot it. And I reshoot it what felt like, I think, the 5th time. Y'all, I just hit the submit button. I think I'm done. I have written down every single one of the sets, like, and they all say complete. Like, I could cry. And if she come back, I thought I was done last go around though, remember? Like, I thought round 2 I was done. But there will not be another round. So if she come back and be like, we need you to do this, I'm gonna tell her no, professionally. Respectfully, no. And I love the photos. The photos turned out amazing. But the second set of photos turned out amazing. And the first set of photos were also amazing. But this last set, they're amazing. And so I submitted and they accepted. So let's recap. I get the biggest brand deal of my life. And what felt like it should have been an easy, quick shoot turned out to be a disaster. It felt like the goalposts kept moving. They would give me a goal, I would reach it, and instead of that being the end of it, they would set another goal. Every time I thought it was over, I would have to reshoot it. And even though it was annoying to have to reshoot those things over and over again, like I said, it took an already big contract and turned it into an even bigger contract. So what's the silver lining? Because I've been trying to figure out what was the lesson there. Because it just felt like I was going through a little spout of hell after I specifically prayed, God, I want this. You delivered on it, but then you made it like extra difficult and hard and obnoxious. And I'm trying to figure out, where is my lesson in this? And so one of the lessons I think could probably be a lesson he's trying to teach me is that when you ask, get specific, get super specific. Not only down to the dollar amount, but also down to how easy it is, how comfortable you are. The second lesson is I was challenged, definitely challenged, but I feel like I was challenged in not a creative way. I feel like I was challenged in a professional way. I had to maintain my professionalism. So that was challenging. Because do you know how many times I wanted to go off on them girls? I also feel like every set of photos that I took and I delivered, it stretched me in a sense. So creatively, I also feel like I was like challenged and stretched. And then seeing them finished and submitted, even though I had to do it 3 times, seeing them finished and submitted, I was proud of every single piece of content that I sent them. And so maybe creatively, that was the challenge. That was the lesson. Or third, I'm realizing that, and this is probably going to be too deep for a lot of people. So if you ain't deep, then you can click out for this video. But I'm realizing that something that I heard recently, someone said that God will turn you into a slave of whatever it is that you idolize. That campaign and the weeks of working with that brand was probably the most stressful and the most tension and pressure that I've ever had in a very long time. I love what I do, but if it's going to be high stress like that, I don't think I want to do it. So I feel like so that I'm not turned into a slave, I need to make sure I'm not idolizing this. And so to do that, I'm continuously talking to God, keeping him first. And I'm trying to stay in a blessed mind frame and a mindset of gratitude. I get to build wealth doing something that I enjoy. And so I don't want to idolize it to the point that I become a slave to it. But I want to be grateful and have gratitude and be happy that I enjoy something that's also making me money. So that's how I had the worst brand experience of my life. I know other girls have different stories. Girls got stories of never being paid or having to chase down payment. I totally understand. I've been there before, but this one, to me, having to reshoot that shit so many times, that was the worst experience I've had. Let me know in the comments where you are in your journey. Have you ever had a bad experience? I know we've all at some point, if you've been doing this for a while, have had to chase down a payment or someone paid you late, but I really want to hear other people's bad experiences. I can't be the only one that had a terrible experience with a brand. Even though I got paid a really large amount, thank you, Father, it was not a good experience. It was actually a pretty bad experience, but I know I need to get off my soapbox. There's people in other countries who have less, and I'm over here complaining. I'm trying to stay in my gratitude bag. But anyway, you're probably thinking at this point in the video, what does she even do? And if you are, then I want you to check out this video about how I quit my job so you can see how I even got to this position. I was a middle school teacher for 10 years and then walked away because I got to create content and get paid for it. Or you may be thinking, how do I get started? And if you are thinking, how do I get started? I want you to check out this video. This video is all about how to become a paid content creator in the fastest route possible. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was just a raw, authentic, unfiltered. I don't know if I'm going to post it or not, but it was just my experience with the worst campaign of my life. But anyway, I will talk to y'all in the next video. Bye.